Yes boys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel once again. Now today we're going to be doing a couple of things. Right, let's turn that off. Enough of me bollocking around. Oh! Dirty! Wait, no, this is mad. Mate, with big tunes like this, the bad boys have got to come out, so let's whack them on. Make a swift old move. Mate, why do people kiss at the fucking petrol station, mate? They're standing in the queue, because obviously COVID-19, you have to queue up to go into shops. They're standing in the fucking queue, necking off. No, that's embarrassing, mate. Fuck that. I mean, I understand the peck. That could be on the agenda, boys, but necking off, no thank you. No thank you. You know what? I've just realised I forgot my fucking clip-on mic, ain't I? So if the audio quality's fucking peak, so far in the video it's going to pick up when we get home because I'll clip on the old mic, but ooh! Mate, I'm telling you, the radio's just, oh my flipping, I've got sweat dripping down my face. That was our graph over in. Anyway, what was I saying? The radio's fucking shit unless the weather's good. And as soon as the weather is popping, Kiss FM is the place you want to be. Bit of Craig David, yes please. Yeah, I definitely need to carry on. I'm sweating buckets, mate. And I definitely need to get the clip on mic because I haven't listened back to this yet, but the last 3 videos which I filmed, all of them was with the clip on mic, and literally the audio quality was on a different level. Like, it was still, could obviously improve, but it was good. It was good, it was tasty, I liked it. So anyway, let's spin around actually. Changing the back of David on a fucking front wheel drive car. Just pull on the old handbrake. Lovely. Anyway, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Catch up in a minute with the clip on mic. Bounce. Right, so we're back. We've got the clip on. Audio is hopefully a lot better now. Now, we've been cleaning the inside of this using a dash restorer pad just on all of the hard plastics. Now we're going to go ahead and use some carpet and upholstery cleaner. On the car, it's looking 10 times better. It looks really, really good. Right, so we have just finished cleaning the interior of the car. Looks 10 times better. Now we're going to quickly go and get the exterior washed. I really cannot be bothered with the jet wash today, so we're going to go ahead and pay just the elbows or whatever they are to clean the outside of the car. But anyway, into the topic of today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 modifications for your car for under £100. Now, you know, you can list hundreds of things, and it can vary depending on car to car, like on a car to car basis. Some cars, parts may be cheaper for, some cars, parts may be more expensive for, but that's how it goes. But this is just a general guide. Now, when I say under £100, you can pick up these parts for under £100 for most cars, but you can also pick up parts, the same part, or not the same part, but maybe slightly more specialist aftermarket part can cost more than £100, but all of these can be done for under 100 quid. Pucker, yeah, cheap modification is exactly what we like, as long as they're not rice. So anyway, let's get to the list. Now, number 1 on the list is going to be a short shifter. Now, reason being is a short shifter basically makes your gear changes feel a lot more notchy, makes it feel more alive, and it can also reduce the throw between gear changes. Now, this is good for a couple of reasons, but it just means you can shift quicker, hence the short shifter. It's a shorter distance which you need to shift. Yeah, a short shifter is a really good modification for any car. Well, obviously if it has a manual gearbox anyway, you can't get one for an automatic, but these can range anywhere from 50 to 100 quid. They can be slightly more depending on brand, like I mentioned previously in the video, but really good modification. Definitely would recommend doing one. That's enough said about short shifters, to be quite honest. Now, number 2 on the list is suspension bushings. Now, you can get hardened bushings which will allow the suspension to feel more rigid and tight. Now, having your suspension more tight
basically drastically increases handling feel and rigidity going around corners, which is a no-brainer for any B-road bashing car. Now, you can get so many different brands. Again, I'd recommend, depending on what type of driving you're doing, if you're doing really just track driving, you want a really hard bushing. If you're doing, you know, fast road driving, you want slightly like a medium softness, hardness, whatever you want to call it, bushing, and you get soft bushing for regular day-to-day daily driving. Now, these will last a lot longer than your factory bushings, and yeah, they're a hell of a lot better all round, so I definitely recommend doing this. For an older car, so for my MX5, there can be an absolute ball ache to do because the wishbones, the bolts can be an absolute bastard, but you know, once you've actually got the suspension off, it's a really, really easy modification. So yeah, defo would recommend doing that. Number 3 on the list is brake pads. I cannot stress this enough. It is so important to have fully functional brake pads. You should check them regularly. I like to check them every time I take off the wheel, which is quite regularly. You know, whilst you're in there, it takes you less than a second to have a little peek, see how much is left on the pad. So definitely do that. But aftermarket pads, things like Brembo brake pads, EBC, that's the one. They can make a world of difference to your brake feel, and they can make your braking more sharp and responsive. So I definitely recommend doing those. Now, you can get different colours, especially in the EBC pads, which are for different styles of driving. Now, I'm not going to go into it in today's video, but you can easily just hop online, hop on Google, do a bit of research, and you'll be able to work out and ascertain what are the best brake pad compound for your type of driving, your style of driving, and your car. Right, so we've just pulled up at the car wash place, so you might see splashing water in the background, but we're going to crack on with the list. Now, number 4 on the list, along with brake pads, are brake rotors. There's so many styles you can get. You can get standard, you can get drilled, you can get slotted, you can get drilled and slotted. The list goes on and on and on and on. So, would defo recommend doing this along with brake pads. If you're changing your pads, you know, discs are inexpensive, and you may as well do it at the same time whilst you're in there, like I said previously about checking your brake pads. Now, oh bloody hell, we're making a nice racket out there. Now, a benefit of having drilled and slotted pads means the heat can dissipate from the disc a lot easier. So it'll basically keep your discs at an optimum performance and operating temperature. Now, next on the list is an aftermarket steering oil. Now, I mean, everything on this list, there's so many different options you can get with them, but I personally, it is all down to personal preference. I prefer a slightly smaller wheel. I just feel like I can control the car better with a smaller wheel. It's better for drifting. In my opinion anyway, people may differ. It's all down, like I said, to personal preference. I run an OMP deep dish steering wheel. It's like a nice suede sort of Alcantara feel to it. It's really, really nice. Looks cool, so you get bonus points, you know, extra horsepower from the look of it. And yeah, just generally it's really, really good. Now, these can range anywhere from 60, 70, 80, all the way to a couple of £100. So do your research. Try out different ones. You can go to special shops anyway in the UK, a lot more so in America. As you can see, we've been snow foamed up, boys. This is sick. Yeah, you can go to specialist shops anyway, and you'll be able to actually like to have a feel of them. But you know, in this day and age, you can return things for free anyway. So you can get one, don't like the feel, send it back, get another one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Love that. 4th on the list. Now we're going to go for the aesthetic modification here. Is a front splitter. Now, I've had various on my MX5. I've had, yeah, a couple of different ones. I just think they really aid the aggressive look of the car. Now, different splitters have different performance benefits. Now, most of the MX5 splitters have air vents at the bottom on the left and right side, and they direct air directly to your brakes, which will help brake cooling, of course. So, sorry about the background noise if you can hear it. I mean, I have got the mic, so hopefully it's a bit better. But yeah, like I was saying, it can really aid brake cooling. So I definitely get one of those. They look really good. You can colour match them to your car. You can paint them glossy black. You can do whatever the hell you like. You can wrap them. There's endless. Okay. Yeah, there's literally endless possibilities, endless options. Just go with what you want to go for, and I'm sure it'll be really good. And just like that, we've got a clean car. I'll show you what it looks like after. I've actually never been there before, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like. But yeah, they were pretty quick, they were pretty efficient. So yeah, all looks good to me. Now, carrying on with the list, next on the list is an aluminium radiator. Now, this one is a bit on the border. It's, you know, I mean, I've just bought one for my car, which was 260 quid. So it can be less than £100, but it just depends on the quality you go for. But anyway, It's made it to the list because, like I said, you can get it for under 100 quid off somewhere like eBay. You can just get an aluminium radiator. Now, these, I can't stress enough, I mean, especially on an old car, it's really important to change these. On the MX5, a telltale sign is the black plastic on the top of the radiator starts going discoloured, like a greeny brown colour, and that means that the plastic's knackered and it could blow at any time. Now if it blows, you get coolant everywhere, you could fuck up your engine, so just get out, change it and do it. Now there's so many different styles. I mean, I'm not going to go through that in today's video. You could make a half-an-hour video on that. There's so many different styles, different brands, different quality you can get. So yeah, like I always say, do your research. There's nothing more valuable than good research when it comes to cars and modifying them. So many people just pay someone to do their car, and all they're actually paying for is someone who's done their research. So you can do your research yourself, you can save yourself a hell of a lot of money. Now, next on the list, I did mention a few braking upgrades earlier, which are really good, but another one to add to the braking selection would be, for sure, definitely hands down, braided brake hoses. These, they don't necessarily improve braking performance, but they improve braking feel so much, so much. Now, you can get a bit of like a spongy feel to your brake pads where the rubber lines can expand and contract under heat. It's not good. You're better off just switching them out. Like I always say, once you're in there doing a job, you may as well do it right. And whilst you're doing the job, you may as well just go all out in my books, because you just do it there. Job's sorted, job's a good one, don't need to worry about it for however long. So defo do them. Now HEL or HEL do really good brake lines. That's what I'm running. Grab yourself a set. I can't remember how much I paid, but it was under 100 bobs. So yeah, it's another one on the list. I'm not actually sure how many we're up to. I think we've done 7. Have we done 7? Yeah, we've done 7. No, tell a lie, we've actually done 8. So on to number 9, next on the list is a aftermarket intercooler. Now this will obviously depend on what car you're driving. If you're driving a turbo car, the standard intercoolers aren't too great, and you can push a lot more power with greater cooling efficiency with an aftermarket aluminium intercooler. Now if you're running an aftermarket turbo car, if that makes sense, like my MX5 doesn't come turbo from factory, then you can always upgrade your intercooler, which is exactly what I'm doing. I have got the new one. It's not on yet. Well, there's no intercooler on the car yet because there's no engine in it, but the new one is really good. I actually was running a Toyo Sports intercooler previously. It did the job for the power level I was running, which was about 250. But for the power we're going to be running once the forged engine's in, it will be no good. So we've upgraded to a Mishimoto one. I'm not going to go into any more detail because I want to do a review on the intercooler, because it is a bloody beefy unit, to be fair. Now, last one on our list of the top 10 modifications you can do to your car for under £100 is going to be the controversial induction kit or cold air intake. Now, I'm going to just whack it straight off the bat and say these do not provide any, or maybe like 1 horsepower, but any actual power increase and power gains on your car. The reason why I recommend it is a couple of reasons. First, it makes your engine bay look cleaner in my books. It looks more performance orientated, it looks better. 2, along with other modifications, they can make an increase, but by themselves, they don't. So having, I guess in essence, what makes a car powerful is how much air you can get to flow into your engine. So if you've got a higher flowing intake, then you have the capability to pull in more air and make more power. Now, there has been testing done. Just check out Mighty Car Mods, for example. They have done a test where they would dyno a car before and after the induction kit, and it makes fuck all difference. So proof's in the pudding, lads. But yeah, they look really cool. Tidy up your engine bay. Finally, they just sound good. They make your car sound a bit more throaty, a bit more croaky. So yeah, defo would recommend doing one of those, because who doesn't like an ASBO loud car? Well, I certainly do, to say the least. Now, that's the top 10 things. Now, before we end the video, I want to throw in a number 11. Now, it's not a number 11 as such, because it's not a modification, but it's something you can do to your car for under 100 quid, which is more important than any of the things which I've just mentioned. Some of you are probably shouting, screaming, typing in the comment section. That is, you probably guessed it already. It's a fucking service. It costs fuck all to do. Like, if you go to the garage, probably about 160 quid. If you do it yourself, I can service my MX5. And now I'm talking air filter, I'm talking spark plugs, I'm talking oil filter, oil change, coolant flush, coolant change. All of that you can do for about 60 quid. So you can save yourself £100. It's really easy to do. If you don't work on your own car, I'd highly recommend just go out and service your car, even if it's been serviced 3 weeks ago. Fuck it, do it again, just to get, or even actually that's a waste of money. You're better off buying performance parts. Ignore me, but what I'm saying is when it comes around to the time to do your service, next time do it yourself, because it'll defo save you a few bob and it'll get you started. Like, that's how I started learning about cars. Do not think day one, I'm not a mechanic, let me just throw that in there. I am no trained mechanic, no qualified mechanic, no automotive experience behind me. I'm an accountant, so pretty much as far from that as you can be. But that's how I started learning how to work on cars, by doing little bits and bobs like that. And now I can build a forged engine. Well, we'll find out when we turn the key. But now I've turboed the car, a naturally aspirated car, all went well, no problem, banged loads of miles on it, it was all good. Now we're forging an engine. Now, you know, you don't learn these things overnight. With, like I said before, research, time, effort and dedication, you can definitely do so. So that's my top 10 modifications for under £100. These are all obviously down to personal preference, but that's what I'd do. If I got a new car, was on a budget, I wanted to modify it, they'd be the first top 10 things I'd do. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any suggestions of what you think your top 10 modifications could be, or if there's anything you think I've missed off the list, throw a comment down below, let me know. I respond to all my comments, so I would love to know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.